This episode is brought to you by Arlon Graphics, a trusted source for high-performance cast vinyl. This is their new product, DPF V9500, which is a high-performance, non-PVC polyurethane product that is made for highly textured surfaces like this. Check out this and all the new products Arlon has coming out at Wensco.com.
Because I get excited and overcharged.
Yep. Overcharged. We know about that.
That's right.
24 by 18.
You mean over?
We know those 24 by 18 overcharged. I
was just saying when I'm overserved at one of your bars in Grand Rapids. Dude gave you new pricing.
I know. I should probably just quit talking to you and just talk to Guy and get the right stuff from the start.
That's where it goes. He's the direct conduit. We don't do committees meetings. We don't do committee meetings.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 73 of the Slightly Serious Sign podcast. Thanks. We got some new people joining us. So thank you guys for coming out to do the podcast. I imagine that's the only reason you guys came out here, not because there's a sales meeting in like 45 minutes that you guys are supposed to be at, but we appreciate you making the drive. So
our pleasure, our privilege.
You're going to go about...
I thought you were going to say
the disclaimer, and then I'll...
Oh, yeah. Disclaimer is, so Don Long is joining us. We'll let him introduce our extra guest, but we'll cut out anything he says that isn't appropriate for the podcast. So just be aware of that. So,
and thanks for listening to the Slightly Serious Sign podcast. We enjoyed it, and we'll see you later.
Well, I might as well get started now so you have more things to edit. Why wait? The time's getting late. The bars are going to close in 12 hours. We got to hustle. The things we need to do.
Officially, we've only edited 2 things out total, right?
2?
And out of 75 episodes, really, we've edited 2 things
3
out. Don was 1. We had to edit out, and then...
But I was the first one.
Avery was we edited something out just for legal things that we said.
Yeah.
But yeah, Don was the other one we had to edit out, but that's it. I mean, other than that,
pretty good. So we figured he's had a good track record.
All right, Don, can you introduce our guest?
Be happy to. First of all, thanks for inviting us. Thanks for inviting us to the sales meeting. We look forward to it. I look forward to it. By the time this is on the air, we would have had the sales meeting. I already kicked ass and took names, and I own them. They're my salespeople. You just pay them, but they're mine. Okay.
That's fair.
But it's a privilege and honor to present my president and owner, Guy Robichaud. Guy Robichaud is the founder of Laminacorr in 1998. Guy and I were together at Coroplast in 1988.
You're not allowed to say that word.
Do I have to beep it out this time?
Do we have to beep that Coroplast out?
Not this one.
Okay.
We did our jobs.
Okay, good.
We did our jobs, and there's only one person on this planet that knows more about corrugated plastic than I do. And he's right here. He invented smooth, flat, and square. This man can run the machine. He can go outside. He can go out in the plant and turn the machine on and run the sheet. And I challenge any other GM president or vice president in North America to be able to run their own extruder. So if you want to know something about corrugated plastic and you don't like me, not uncommon.
Yeah, I was going to say that's...
More than happy to call Guy. Guy's there with his beautiful bride, Isabel, and the 3 daughters who are in and out of the business depending on when they're making children. And it's
making children or having children?
Both. Okay. And it's truly a family affair.
This is great so far.
And there's nothing like going up to the plant and going over to the house. And he gives me the basement for a couple of days, and then I wear out the welcome, and I get sent back to the United States with a passport.
I can see that.
Exactly.
Can see that, yeah.
So, Guy, say hello.
Hello. Yeah, thanks for coming. We appreciate it. We appreciate you coming even to do the sales meeting. It's great. So it's just cool with this podcast, we've had a lot of our vendors and distributors and all that kind of stuff on. And to see other family-owned businesses, I think has been cool to see, because there's not a ton of them out there, at least that have grown to the size that you guys have. So it's been great, and I think on our end it's been a great partnership.
Yeah, even how we signed when we originally signed up with you guys. Don, you met us, remember, in that cigar bar with the pink furniture and stuff. I think you met us. You sat at a table with Judy and I, and when we came back, we're like, he's kind of crazy, but like, why don't you head up to Canada and check that family out? So I think it was a week, 2 weeks later, right when we got back, I drove up there in a snowstorm and checked it out, met Guy. I think Krista was the only one working then.
No, maybe Fiona.
No, it was Fiona. It was Fiona. So Fiona was working and went to. I told you you're going to get yelled at for the microphone. So went to dinner with him and Fiona, but you could just tell it was a family environment. They knew what was going on, which I like that because like there's so many companies where like, oh, I'm just the president of the company, but I have no idea how to run anything. And you could tell they knew the business inside and out. Daughter knew the business inside and out. And that's when I went back to Judy and said, yep, this is the company. Let's do this.
The Robichaud family is all swept the floor.
Yeah, you could tell.
Simple as that.
Same with the Hall family. They've all swept the floor. Yeah. Tyler probably not as much because he didn't want to get his slacks dirty.
Well, he's
the other boys that like
he's the pretty boy of the company.
He is, yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Listen, I'm bringing in the business over here, okay? If I got dirt all over my face, that's not going to be a good look for us here.
Get closer to the microphone. We're getting yelled at
just
again.
Need to move it that way.
There you go.
This way, that better? You feel better now?
You sound great.
Okay.
You sound awesome.
You sound great, Don.
Your hair's looking good, too.
That's what I do. I do hair. So it's all good out there. We've been able to position ourselves to be better, not bigger. We face the same challenges. Our competitor gives things away, and your competitor gives things away. So we have to, beat them at their own game. We're SEAL Team 6. Okay. We go up the beach and hit the pillbox and go on the Berlin. The other guys just sit around and wait for orders. And that's our advantage. And that incorporates your entire sales staff. When they go to sell corrugated plastic, they just don't go sell corrugated plastic. They go to sell an account. Because anybody who buys corrugated plastic is buying your entire warehouse. And it's important for me to get your guys into these accounts. So they call Wensco. The more they call Wensco, I'll get my piece. Yeah. So not calling Wensco, I'll never see anything. Okay. And you're positioned properly. I'm insanely excited about Wisconsin and Minnesota with the exit of GSG. Now we have more deliveries in Wisconsin, and there's, like the commercial says, do they know there's a gold mine underneath them? Okay. So your expansion in Wisconsin thrills the heck out of me. And going back up to Minnesota with your staff that I go back with 20 years, we're going to tear it up. We're just going to tear it up. I'm just so excited about going up and cocktailing hard at the St. Paul Grill. So you better be there when I go up there.
Oh, if you're there, I'm there.
Okay.
I go where you go.
Okay.
I said all of that sounds good until about the third week of October hits. Then I refuse. It's already cold enough here. I'm not going any further north.
Well, that's when you get on the plane to fly to Palm Springs. We make the tea time.
Look, that sounds
What's wrong
great
with
too.
you?
I agree.
You think I've slaved in this industry for 35 years not to get a second house in the desert in the wintertime? For crying out loud. Judy's got a place in Florida for obvious reasons.
And Don hasn't sent me an invite, though. This felt like a formal one, though, so I'll probably have to cash in on it.
You be very careful going to Don's house.
I think you guys should have a retreat.
I don't know what that means.
A winter.
But I believe you.
Listen.
Hey, it's the Western Mar-a-Lago. I've
heard of Don FaceTiming people, showing him his house, and he walks by a mirror, and Don is FaceTiming you in just his underwear.
Not true. I do a mirror, but it's my face in the mirror, which I admire profusely on a regular basis.
He has to stop and look at it for a second.
Stop. Yeah.
My
hair's not quite right today.
Well, the president calls me and asks me if my hair is proper, and I ask him if his hair is proper. And we both agree, and we move on and face the next battle. Trust me, because they're out there.
I didn't think about this, but it's Don Long and Donald Trump going for best old man hair.
That's hey. That's very old man hair. Get it straight.
I'll leave this as an opportunity for Don to talk about the tariff situation, kind of what's happening with you guys on that one. But Don calls me like the middle of what's going on with the tariffs, right? And I don't even remember what you called for at the time, but anyways, I'm like, oh, how's it going with like the current like Canada tariff situation? Because that was when they were threatening them, and then Canada took all U.S. liquor off the shelves, so they were
you
getting
can address
desperate.
That part of it.
They were getting really desperate.
Still out.
They were
still out.
Yeah, it's still out.
So they're still desperate over there. So I said, that just sounds super depressing. I mean, I don't understand how it's a loss for us, right? In terms of the people making it here, but it sounds like way more of a loss for people in Canada. Than
There's no Jack Daniels in Canada.
Not anymore.
No.
or wine or bourbon?
Yeah, everything's been removed.
Well, did you guys tell them that if they take the bourbon off the shelf, it's going to take like another 10 years for Canada to make their own, right? It's not like tomorrow they're going to
bourbon. You can't make bourbon overnight.
Yeah, so it's not going to work. If they're worried about our supply chain issues, that's a serious supply chain issue. Okay, 10 years. Okay, we'll pull it off before then. Anyways, Don calls me and I was like, "How's it going over there?" He's like, "Oh, yeah, don't worry about it." I called Don and said, "Hey, we don't need the tariffs over here with our plastic, so can you get those to go away?" And he said, "No problem, Don, I got you. So we don't have to worry about the tariffs anymore." And I said, "Don, I appreciate that." Yep. So.
Don, no tariffs long. We're under USMCA. That was negotiated by the greatest president ever, Mr. Trump, in 2018 under USMCA. So there are no tariffs coming into the United States from Cornwall. Plus, we have a plant in Texas, too. So if that ever happened, that one chance in 10,000, we just move you down to Dallas and we'll party very hard in Dallas.
We might be in Dallas.
Yeah, I've heard rumors to that effect.
Every time Texas comes up on the podcast, it's the same thing. We might be there.
We might be there.
Hey, I'm focusing on Minneapolis.
Yeah, that could be fun, right?
I'm looking forward to that. In fact, I'm there now because this is going to be shown in July. So I've already been up there and toured through the city. I'm going to spend a week up there with Kelly and all my friends.
Nice.
Without a doubt. So, but material's doing well. What's our rejection rate? 0? Knock on wood. Yeah.
It's pretty low.
So now we've been able to respond to the market because we have to face things that you have to face. And your sales staff is, front and center, and they go after the better stuff. The smaller stuff, the mid stuff, and going after the big stuff. And Wensco's becoming a household name all through the upper Midwest because every time I turn around, there's a new branch in Indianapolis, new branch in Louisville, new branch in Cleveland, extra deliveries in Wisconsin, and your Minneapolis branch, I know, will be the player.
Yeah, we now open, 4 locations since COVID?
4 and 5 years.
4 and 5 years. So we're moving. I mean, we're not moving at a pace where we're giving bad service.
Yeah.
Like you can go too fast where you just cannot get the people to do what you need to do. And I just won't allow us to be that way. I won't allow us to not be an operations company. I mean, we still want to sell, but like when we sell it, we want to be able to deliver what we sell. And if you move too fast, you just can't do that. You can't. I mean, we could add a ton of management and try to help, but like even that, like it becomes, a trust issue with me too. Like you've seen me, like we open Cleveland, I'm there. We open Indianapolis, I'm there. We open Louisville, I'm there. When we open Minneapolis, I'll be there. When we open Dallas, I'll be there.
The value proposition is you, Tyler, the staff, and all those trucks with that say Wensco on the side. Because guess what? Nobody else is delivering anymore within 1,000-mile range of where I'm sitting right now. All the trucks are gone. They're all using third party. And you ship corrugated plastic third party, it comes looking different than what you thought you bought.
Yeah, and they're shipping it for so long now. Like you had the branch right here in Grand Rapids. They don't have it anymore. So all that stuff comes from Chicago. And some places they're hubbing it and getting it to another truck and moving over. And the only person that even remotely does that close is Harbor Sales. They're good at it, but they've been doing it forever. The other places, they're not good at it yet. They're beating stuff up, which I don't blame them. Like, I know I have the same kind of people where that's why we only let them touch it once.
Yeah,
like, because it's the people you're hiring. It's that group of people you're hiring. Like, some of them don't care. And it's hard to find the people that actually care. But if you only let them touch it once, you have a lot better chance than if you have 4 different people touching that same sheet before it gets to the customer.
It's the same for foam, expanded PVC. The more touches, the more third-party touches. That's the dangerous part because they're just throwing out something out of a truck again. Half the time they won't unload it for you because they got 5 more things to do to companies that aren't in the sign supply business.
Yep.
So it's just another pallet and forklift damage kind of. It's amazing, but everybody's wearing gloves at Laminacorr. You guys are wearing gloves here when you ship it. It just reduces all the problems.
Yep.
It costs less to have less. It costs more to have less phone calls, but we'll take less phone calls.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think what you were talking about earlier is was a good point in terms of you're SEAL Team 6, right? Going in there and getting the sale, right? So I think where we look at it from our side is you've talked about before with the Kmart, right? Where you get to a size where size is your only, that's how you view yourself, right? You're like, I'm the biggest player in the market, so that's all that matters to everyone else. And it's not true, right? So the more you get in front of people and they realize like, hey, maybe buying from the base company isn't right for us, right? When we talked to Andy at IT Supplies, right? That's what he said too. Or it's like, if you want to buy from the biggest company, like here's their booth number. But if you'd like to buy somebody that cares about you, here's our booth number, right? And I think you guys and us are kind of in that same boat where we could, go out there and we could go on just price alone, right? Let's see how cheap we can get this down, right? You only care about 4x8s. Who cares about anything else on it? And we'll just go for the cheapest price. And then what you just said is the exact point, right? We could do that, but then we're just going to get a billion more phone calls by the time we're done here, right? Which is not our goal.
And you go back to the point of, like we said with Kmart, like Kmart got so big, they started losing their shelf space to Wrangler jeans, right? Wrangler jeans was big in Kmart. All of a sudden they started taking Wrangler jeans shelf space because I can make more money on this and people are going to come here because it's cheaper. Well, who's still around? Wrangler jeans. Who didn't make it? Kmart. Like at some point you lose who got you there. And
Montgomery Ward, Kmart, Penny and Sears are on their last legs.
Yeah, they all lose where they got there. I mean, they allowed a different company to grow up big because they didn't want to change. And I think sometimes you get that big where you think you're just better than all your suppliers. You think you're better than all these other people. And you forget that you need to change. You forget that you have a customer. And you forget that there's actually competition that's just the tortoise and the hare. We're just slowly getting there. And we're going to continue to do everything right, everything ethical all the way along the line. And in the end, we'll win the battle. We'll absolutely win the battle.
And I think they start playing on what you said is the customer is the most important part. And I think they will forget about that. They're looking at dollars and cents only, right? Which makes returns, we're going to look at every single thing down to the T, right? We're not going to accept this return unless we know for certain that it was on us versus at the beginning, maybe. I mean, like even Amazon is going through that right now, or before, right? You hit that return button, they're just like, accept it. It's fine. And now they're getting to the point where it's like, hey, let's double check that real quick.
Amazon's trying to stop home delivery. They're showing up with those regional drop-off boxes.
Yeah.
So that's because that's not convenient. It's so they don't have to come to the house.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing there. But I represent a man who's making a product. And our Taiwanese-based competitor, I got that one in, is making a piece of plastic. Okay, simple as that.
I think it's all about the value propositions that company are offering. So the family-owned type of companies, they grow within the companies, right? So people like grown in the companies.
Get closer to your microphone.
They are doing the so they share the value because it's kind of what they personally feels. So your why kind of dictate a little more. So your why kind of dictate the type of customer you want to deal with. And then growing a company is one thing, but growing a company based only on price and being the cheapest one, at some point, I don't know what kind of value proposition you present other than pricing. And then that's kind of where we feel strained. It's when we find a customer base that actually match the exact same values what we have. And those people also try to find the right way to sell to their own customer base. And I think the people that just go and, like, obviously you need to be price competitive, but the one that only look at getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, especially in the sign industry, I don't think they realize the move of the manufacturing in the plastic world. So most companies now are fully integrated. They could diversify their capacity into other type of markets. So relationship will become more and more important down the road. And you won't be able to just do okay, well, if I buy this much, I can get it cheaper. You need to be able to call a friend at the other end and say, listen, I'm stuck with this. Could you help me out? My 2014 is too expensive. Can you give me a bit of a break?
Sorry to interrupt you guys, but I just want to take a minute to talk about Nakusa, the name behind our tape. Our tape's the #1 application tape out there, but they are more than just tape now. Nakusa has a full range of products out there. Their new one is called NextBond. This is a UV cured adhesive. Why does that matter? It's an eco-friendly and durable option, but comparable to most of the eco-friendly options, this is a cost-effective product. So if you're looking for an eco-friendly product or a durable product or just in general a good vinyl, NextBond is going to be the one for you. This is available at Wensco.com as well as all of their other products. So check it out at Wensco or reach out if you have any questions. Oh, and don't forget to use your Nakusa bucks. Have you heard about Metamark? Metamark is a company that sells premium graphic solutions for commercial and fleet signage. So whether that's walls, or it's vehicles, or it's tables, or doors, we loved it so much we put it all over the podcast studio. So you can check it out on our videos or at Wensco.com.
Yeah, and then the people respond. It says 72. I can't afford to pay that penny more.
Yeah,
but it is something, right? And then you got a back and forth relationship. Like it's actually, could you help me here? I'm okay there. Like stuff like this. So
you said it right. It's a relationship. Relationships go both ways. And I think when you get to a certain size and you're not a family-owned company, that's not a relationship. That's a dictatorship at some point. Where it's like
it's a transaction.
Yeah, it's a transaction.
Blind transaction.
And you knew we were looking from the start. We were looking for a relationship. We're looking to work with you. Like when our vendors come in for this meeting, they all know us very well. Like because we go back and forth. And there's even times like we go visit them. Like Tony and I have now visited 3 or 4 vendors lately. We're going to visit another one next week. So like we'll go out and visit them too. Like it's not always your job just to come to us. Like we're going to show you. We will also come to you. We want to see what you're doing there. We want to meet your staff too.
I want to get together more with those Illumitech gentlemen.
Illuminate?
Yeah, the folks out of Houston.
They still gave us the greatest meal of all time, didn't they, Tyler?
That's a hint.
Just the food. Yeah,
they gave us the greatest food. They brought us to the best. We had the best meal with them that we've had with anybody in the industry.
In the GR?
It was in Orlando.
Is where it was.
Oh, it was at ISA.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. It was some show.
Yeah.
It was some show. But that was the best meal we've had at any show. It was like not my favorite restaurant, but that was the best meal we had.
Let us know what it is when you get a chance.
We will. You can bring us there.
There's 2 lions out front. That's all you
2 lions out front somewhere near the
convention center.
The convention center.
Near where the Ferris wheel is.
Yep.
In the famous words of Yogi Berra, no one goes there anymore. It's too crowded.
Yeah.
Who's Yogi Berra?
Again, this is like the earlier one, except apparently Domingo was making a modern reference and I just thought he was making an old person reference. So,
boy.
Yogi Berra was a soccer player.
Put the pipe down, Mike.
He's trying to set me up here. I've given up. I'm just going to ignore him from now on. But no, I think what you're saying is
dad joke.
Like the last 18 months for us, right, has been a test to like making sure we have good vendor partners, right? In terms of we've found some that are turns out not great partners who we thought were before. So it makes it even more intentional difficult when you're looking for somebody new or you're looking for an add-on to say like, hey, this isn't something we're trying to do like in the next 8 months. This is something we're trying to do 8 years from now. We would love to still be selling the product. And it's usually not, it's lately at least, hasn't been as much of an issue on our end. It's an issue of other people getting in the way of that relationship, but it becomes who we tie ourselves to has to be able to support us long-term.
Well, it comes to, we're going to go to more family-owned companies without a doubt, because a family-owned company can make the decision to like, okay, well, I might lose this, but I don't want to lose everybody else. Where if you're private equity, you can't show that big loss. You don't have a choice to make a decision.
Yeah.
So if you're private equity owned and your eggs are mostly in one basket, if we don't have to buy from you, we're not going to buy from you. And that's just basically it, because at any point that call can be made and we lose them. And we're not going to put ourselves in that situation. It's happened to us 3 times. Twice,
3 times,
3 times, and it's not going to happen a 4th. I mean, if it does happen a 4th, that'll be another great podcast.
I've noticed him lately. And those names shall remain nameless, but we have a committee of 1, and he's right here.
Yeah, that's exactly right. When you're family owned, like you can just choose to like, wait a minute, you're not going to bully me this way. But when you're private equity, you don't have a choice because you're answering to somebody that just cares about $1 too, right? So
they're looking to sell you as soon as possible.
Yeah, and you're also an employee, right?
Yep.
So there is a lack of human relationship kind of thing, right? So it's more transactions. So growing, like working together on a platform that has the exact same value kind of things. Like the other guys, they want you to succeed. They want to see you grow. They celebrate the growth with you. It's not just making a bigger bonus or something like this. Like it's become, obviously everybody are in business to make some decent return, but there's something that motivates you every day to go to work, and then it's not just money. Like so. I find if you become slave of money, you just don't get the vision of saying, okay, well, I'm doing this because I want to make him a favor, not because I'm going to make money, right? So when you're a slave of money, you need to make money no matter what. So I think the people that had started a company from zero, grow it from zero, and did all this had a little bit more of a how would I say that? Like something that is more human, like relational. So if you value that, then of course it's the perfect match. If you don't value that, you don't care, right? Like you will say, how you're too expensive. And then the next day you go to somewhere else, and then that somewhere else doesn't have the material anymore. And then you come back and you expect like the people's going to jump. And then when you're the owner and you say, I don't even want to quote you, then they get shocked. Like that doesn't exist in their world, and somebody's going to say, you know what, I don't care about your business. I don't like it. Like,
when we talk to customers that way, like when they're constantly beating us on price, constantly complaining about our service, and then when I make that call and say, hey, look,
fire them.
Order from somebody else. We don't want your order. Well, we still want to order from you. Well, you can, but there's going to be a charge to put up with you. That's right. And there's basically a put up with you charge put on their order where they don't want to order. Well, they can't believe that, well, why would you walk away from that? I'm like, I don't want to deal with the headache of you. Like, and you just beat me up on price. Like, I'm not making any money. And we're not here
like
just
there's
for
no respect. Yeah. Like at some point, there's just no respect. So you would like to get some respect and get some return for the effort you put in that relationship. And then I think when it's becoming too corporate, doesn't mean like you can still have the same value on a large scale companies. Like it depends who's running the companies. Like I'm sure your company could go up to 15 store, 20 store. And as long as those value lead the growth,
and that's where we're at. Like,
as long as the Nelsons and the Hulls are here, it's going to follow a certain track.
So Judy had just asked me maybe a couple weeks ago or whatever. She literally sat me down and looked at me and like, would you ever sell the company? And I looked back and said, there's no chance. Like, there's no chance I ever sell because one, I care more about winning than I do about money.
God, I know.
With the reality,
I just want to win every day. I walk out. Where am I going to win today? I want to beat you up. I just want to win. Nothing's better than winning.
When you talk about
sucks.
When you talk about like the kind of having the ability to make those decisions, right? Where to like a large corporation that they don't even make sense, right? What we've seen, especially in our industry, is like if your goal is to make as much money as possible, like say before you retire, right? That's your goal. That's a completely different path than if you're saying, I want this company to still be here. Like we're 80 plus years old, right? And we're saying, I want this company to be here another 80 years. Those are two completely different decisions, right? And if your goal is to make a bunch of money and sell, which is a lot of people in this industry right now, that is a completely different mindset than I want my kids to work here and my grandkids to work here and their grandkids to work here, if that's an option.
And that's where we're at, right?
Correct.
Like we brought all our key people in a few weeks ago, 4 weeks ago now, maybe.
Way longer ago.
Long ago. Wait, so we brought all the key people in, like from from where this came out was a while ago. So we brought all our key people in from each group, and I literally sat them down and we talked, but we talked about where we want to be. And when we talked about 2030, where does Wensco want to be in 2030? How are we going to get there? Where do we want to be at that spot? Because, and I just said, and I told them then, like, we're not going to sell. It's going to move on. We're going to keep going. Like, I'm not money motivated that way. We're like, oh, give me a big check. And the other thing, I could never do it to the staff. I could never, like, you watched a Granberry go from the most respected guy in the industry to like, he can't show up at a show. And it's sad that it's that way because he probably made the best decision for his family. But the reality is that's what's going to happen. Your reputation is more important than money. At least mine is.
The best way to make money is waking up and working hard.
Yep. So I'm not motivated by a big check. I'm simply motivated by like, I want to win, and I want to make there's a company that when these kids are old enough and are ready to roll, that they have a very good foundation for what we're going to do next. And then they do the same thing. And then the next people do the same thing. And by the time those grandkids are old, like, we're the leaders because we push through the whole thing and we make good decisions.
Yeah, you build a legacy.
Yep. Right. That's basically what we're trying to do. Right. And ethically, like, we're going to do everything right. We're not going to cheat people. We're not going to lie to people. We're basically going to do what's right in the business the entire time. And I firmly believe it'll win. I mean,
guaranteed.
Yep.
Yeah, guaranteed. Like cheating goes for so long. Like, it's kind of a shortcut to success.
Yep.
But it catch you up at some point. So yeah, I think when you look at a lot of family-owned companies, the issue when you grow a company is you go by stage. And obviously, we all have our limit as far as what we're capable of. Like, we're not unlimited. So everybody reach a point of incompetency of some sort. And then if you got no kids involved, you got nothings, and then you reach that point, and then you're getting a certain age, then what else can you do? Like, you're kind of stuck, right? Like, so some people are in that areas, like the one that has chance of having children interested in pursuing the companies, or they adhere to those values. Like, they still think that, you know what, I want to do the same thing. You know, I want to pursue what my dad had as a dream or my mother as a dream and stuff like this. And then they were raised into this respectful, like last week I was working on the floor welding boxes with my wife. Like, you know what I mean? So we have 200 employees. Like, why would you do this, right? But we couldn't get the order out. People were having issue. We're trying to recruit. We're doing all these kind of things. And then sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. And then we end up going out there and then doing thing ourselves. So would a CEO do that normally?
I think both of us.
Like, it might not be the smartest idea, but there was like, we're installing an equipment. And then it's an American-made machinery. So we had people from the U.S. in our facility for about 3 weeks. And then 2 of them comment on that.
Yeah.
Like, 2 said, you know what, like this is what your wife over there? I said, yes, it is. And then he said, like, this talk a lot. Like seriously, seeing an owner going out there, helping out with the employees to get. So if you were raised in this, if you were like 5 years old and you saw that, and then you never build this, like I deserve something else, right? Like this. So you got that will of helping others. You got all this, and then when you build your company on that, like, it doesn't matter if your competitor is 10 times your size. You just move along with your own business, and then you chew up a piece, another piece, another piece, another piece. And then first thing you know, like, you're the big guys, right? It's just, could you grow and then develop this ability to go from being an entrepreneur to more of a administrative type of guys? So you can teach this versus doing it yourself. Yep. And then, you know, some succeed, some has more issue, but if you have this gift of being able to, like, to kind of transfer that to the next generations and they adhere to the program, then you're building something hard to. You're building something very difficult to break. Like, it's not just a little shake that's going to put the whole thing down.
As the lines under my eyes authenticate, I've done this for a few years and worked for a few corrugated plastic companies that have all been either sold or merged or divested at some particular point. And after they went through that process, they all fell apart, because that was taken over by someone who was involved in business. They weren't plastics people. And they all got dissolved and forgot, and they lost who they were. And they're still out there in name only because of trademarks, but they're a part of the big mush of that Taiwanese-based company. Okay, now they don't matter. They've lost their identity, lost their branding, and what's left is this man, okay, who still makes a product and still branded. And like Wensco, still your family and the Nelson family. So I think it's a slow slog, okay? But the chart always goes up.
Without a doubt, you can make more money every year if I didn't care about my staff, right? If I was willing to like, you're getting up there, I'll turn you over. Somebody else younger can do your job, right?
Enterprise rent-a-car.
Enough where like, okay, it might pay for itself. But the reality is I'd rather have these people that have been around here 20 years answering the phones. They cost more, right? When I have drivers that have been here 30 years now, he costs more. But you know what? He's going to have my back no matter what happens in that situation. He's got my back. Some other kid that I can pay half the price is not going to have my back when a situation comes up.
Mike, I think you might be paying more, but it costs less.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, at the bottom line, I could, for sure. Over the long run, if I want to like, I'm going to make a ton of money this year, I'll just get rid of my older staff and like, or figure out some reason to weed them out and put the younger staff in, pay less. I can make a big check at the end of the year, but where am I in 5 years? Right? When they don't have my back and situations come up. So,
well, the younger staff's going to turn over too. Quicker.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there is a social thing of being an owner, right? Like at some point, like I said, we have close to 200 employees. There's 200 family.
Yep.
That actually has a life because they decide to work in our things. So we have children. Yeah, we have responsibility to make the right decision, and we also have the responsibility to care for those family. So again, when you become slave of money, you care less. You care for the returns and obviously your stock or whatever size you are, and what generate the revenue. But again, this taking care of people, that's another good sign of building a solid foundation. So there's more than just making money.
Yes.
When you own a company, so like that caring things, it goes a long way. Like it may not pay instantly, but you see all these large companies that lay off 10,000 people. They rearrange the stock price, and then 10 years later they lay off another 10,000. That doesn't seem to work.
Yeah. When we had our summer party, I think it was the first summer party we had. I remember standing with Judy, and she's like, this freaks me out. And I had never thought about it until she said that. Like, if you look at all these people, we brought everybody in with their families. She goes, the decisions we make, every single person in this group is affected by.
It's exponential.
And it never hit me until she said that at that moment. And I thought about it like, I can make a decision that ruins all of us. Like, and the reality is like, yes, you can. Like, and then when I started seeing like the principal drop us, like, man, you can wreck my whole group. Like, I'm glad we're rid of you now. And then when Vanguard does it too, like, all right, well, I see where you're at. Like, we ain't putting up with that stuff anymore. Like, I'm going to align myself with good people that I can protect, all the employees and their families as best I can. And it's my job to protect them. And we will do what's necessary with vendors to make sure that we're protecting them.
Yeah, but you want the people on the same page.
Yep,
right?
Exactly right.
Right. So you don't have to negotiate that. You don't have to argue for that concept. You want to go along with your vendor value propositions. You carry with yours, and then it kind of they can match, right?
Yep.
So that's a good thing, and it's the employee side of things. They don't see the bad decision coming. Right, like they are in their work, they do their things, they trust you as a manager that you'll do the right call. So next month we don't have an issue with, and they trust you. And then I don't think everybody see that or pay attention to that. Like they see a person working in a company is almost like another piece of the equipment, an extension of the machine. Yep. They don't see it that if you only think about yourself, you don't have the. Like, you don't have the caring for the other person, then you're missing the boat. Like, you need to realize that. Like, our two company goes along the same way.
Yeah, we go the same way. Like, we feel the same. I can see that we feel the same way, and that, same thing. Like, I could never do anything that hurts like our staff. Like, and I protect them at all costs. Like, even to me, like we have a show next weekend. Whatever it is, we have a show coming up that's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm like,
ouch.
I'm like, at that point, I'm like, I'll just do it. Like, I'll be the guy that goes out and does the Saturday, Sunday. Why would anyone else have to do a Saturday, Sunday? I'll go out and do the Saturday, Sunday. Like, it's a terrible show to have a Saturday, Sunday, but it is what it is, and someone's got to do it. I'm like, I'll just do it. Like,
the buck stops with you, my friend.
Yep. So like, I mean, yeah, we can pay someone to go do it, but who wants to work a Saturday, Sunday during the summer? Nobody. So
It's
I'm
gonna be
like,
snowing any day now.
yeah, but I'll
Yeah, you want to
I'll do
lead
it.
by example.
Yep, I'll do it. Like I'll be the one that steps up and does it Saturday and Sunday and tears it down and comes back late Sunday night and then flies out Monday morning, whatever.
Yeah.
So
you can't expect someone else to do something that you wouldn't be willing to do. And I think that's what we've been talking about the whole time.
yeah, yeah, and
Willing to start and sweep the floors and put together boxes and get shipments out the door when
On a Friday night.
on your head when that's how they're looking at it. It's like, this seems like it's below your pay grade, right? Like there's no reason you need to be
I think
out here.
we're on the same level where like there's nobody in our staff that would say that I ain't working my butt off all the time. And I think your staff probably says the same thing. There's no, like, I know if there's a fire, he's gonna be the first person at the fire every single time.
And even people say you should not do this.
Yeah,
Like they come to you and they say,
you don't need
no,
to do that.
Come on, like
yeah,
you.
but
That's the new age way of being an executive.
No, I think it's some older people that they have work ethics. They say, like, you've done your time. Like, it's not up to you to come here and do this. And when you still do it, then they value this. So some other people don't really see it. Like, is this the smartest way to grow a company, going and sweeping the floor, welding? But somebody has to do it once in a while, right? Like, and then if you want to elevate, I want this to look clean all the time. And then somebody work hard and could get the cleaning done. And say, we're going to give it a bit of a sweep because I want that standard.
Yep. And then people see that too. Like, we did a little study here in the main aisle. Like, when it's all swept, if it's swept, clean, nice, and you put one piece of trash on the floor, chances are the first person that walks through is going to pick it up. But if it's not swept, clean, nice, nobody's going to pick up one single piece of trash. I can have the exact same piece of trash in the exact same spot. 8 people walk by it. I can put it with a swept floor. All 8 people would pick that one piece of trash up. So it's a matter of like, we got to keep it clean. And like, sometimes that's you, right? Sometimes they're busy. Sometimes it's like, if I keep it 90% clean, they'll clean the other 10% without even knowing they're cleaning it.
That's right.
Guys, before we leave today, I just wanted to ask you one quick question, and that is, what is a pirate's favorite application tape? R tape. R tape is the #1 application tape in the United States, and it comes with an RLA, which is a release liner adhesion, meaning it's going to stick to the liner. Even on cut graphics, if you roll it, it's not going to tunnel, wrinkle, or curl, or anything like that. So if you're looking for the best application tape for cut graphics out there, R tape RLA is for you, and you can get it at Wensco.com.
We got to wrap up, Tyler, because we got to get to a meeting.
Well, yeah, hopefully this is beneficial to you to kind of get an idea of who we are and who you guys are as a company, and hopefully if you're...
Do you remember when Guy, before
listening,
Guy walked in here, he says all he's going to do is say his name?
Yeah. And then it turns out...
he said, I'm only going to say my name. If you say any more, your 24x18 price is going up. Yeah. Is what he told me.
And like,
I'm going to give you a break now.
I appreciate it. And then honestly, I felt like I just sat here and listened to you guys talk the whole time, which was sweet. So I appreciate you coming on. This was awesome. I hope you guys found it as valuable as I did sitting here. So Don, thanks again for coming on. #1 podcast supporter that we have.
It's always great to turn left
we
on
appreciate it.
Great River Road past the ballpark and turn left on Safety Drive Northeast.
Yeah.
5760.
He's been here a few times.
He's been here a few times. He puts in the GPS.
Yeah, so... But we appreciate it. But thanks, guys.
Hey, I'm having an affair with Siri and Alexa at the same time. They both love me.
That's true. That's true. Well,
it's the only people.
That's about right. It's tough turning 30.
His 2 girlfriends are Siri and Alexa.
Yeah,
that's right, baby. They never say no.
They're the only ones that answer them.
And they just keep telling them the weather over and over.
Yeah, God, the truth hurts. Truth hurts.
Well, thank you guys.
Much.
Appreciate you coming on. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. So goodbye.
Bye-bye.